The world held its breath. Empress Saola had given Earth 1 month to return her fleet or face war. But how could humans return something they did not take? The fleet had vanished because of ancient defenses. Defenses that humans did not build and did not control. Ambassador Taeyang worked day and night with Earth's leaders. He explained the politics of the galaxy. The Draconian Empire was powerful but weakened. Their worlds were overcrowded. Their resources were running out. They needed new planets to survive. That was why they invaded other worlds. They are not evil, Taeyang said. They are desperate, and desperate people do terrible things. Captain Yuna had become a hero after the battle. She spoke at the United Earth Council. Her words were broadcast to the whole world. We cannot hide behind ancient shields forever, she said. The precursors gave us protection, but they are gone. We must stand on our own. I say we should remove the sanctuary status. Join the galaxy, face whatever comes with our heads held high. Many people agreed with her. Others thought she was crazy. Why give up protection? Why risk war when they could stay safe? Commander Daewon was torn. Part of him wanted to agree with Captain Yuna. Humans should not hide. But another part remembered the battle. He had watched 30 ships destroyed in minutes. How could Earth survive in a galaxy full of species that powerful? While politicians argued, Dr. Minsu continued studying the precursor installation. He spent every day in the deep-sea research station they had built above it. Strange things were happening. The installation was becoming more active. The blue lights were getting brighter. New sections were powering on. It is waking up, Dr. Minsu told his team. The installation has been dormant for millions of years, but now it is activating. I think it knows the Draconians are planning to return. Meanwhile, in the Draconian Empire, Empress Saola made her own plans. She did not believe the precursor defenses were truly unbeatable. Every weapon has a weakness. She just needed to find it. She called for Scholar Bora, the Empire's best scientist. Bora was young for a scholar, only 30 years old. But she understood precursor technology better than anyone else in the Empire. She had spent her whole life studying their ruins on other worlds. Can the defenses be defeated? The Empress asked. Bora chose her words carefully. Perhaps, but not through force. The precursor installations are too powerful. If we want to understand what happened to War Prince Kirin, we need to study the installation. We need to work with the humans. Work with them? They took my nephew. No, the precursor's dead. The humans are as confused as we are. If we attack them, the defenses will activate again. We will lose another fleet. But if we approach them peacefully, if we offer to help them understand the installation, perhaps we can all get answers. The Empress did not like this idea. But she was wise enough to see the truth in it. She sent Bora to Earth with a military escort led by General Young Ho. Young Ho was an old soldier who had served with War Prince Kirin. He wanted his prince back. Ambassador Taeyang brought the proposal to President Jamin, a joint human-Draconian expedition to study the precursor installation. Share information. Work together. Try to understand what happened to the missing fleet. Many humans were against it. How could they trust the Draconians? These were the same aliens who came to conquer Earth. But President Jamin saw an opportunity. If humans and Draconians worked together, maybe they could avoid a war. We will try cooperation, President Jamin announced. But we will stay alert. If the Draconians betray us, they will regret it. Scholar Bora arrived on Earth with General Young Ho and a small team. They were escorted at all times by human soldiers. Lieutenant Hana was assigned to work with Bora. At first, the two women did not like each other. Bora thought humans were primitive and ignorant. Hana thought Draconians were arrogant invaders. But as they studied the installation together, something changed. They realized they were both scientists, both curious, both wanted to understand the truth. Your people are not what I expected, Bora said one day. They were in the underwater research station, looking at holographic displays of the installation. What did you expect? Hana asked. War Prince Kirin said you were primitive, barely evolved. He said conquering you would be easy. But you are not primitive. Your technology is different from ours, but it is clever. You think in ways we do not. Hana did not know how to respond to this. She decided to be honest. Your people scared us. You came to take our freedom. But I am learning that you are not monsters. You are just different. Bora looked sad. We are a dying species. Our sun is expanding. Our worlds are becoming too hot. We need new planets or we will not survive. But I know that does not excuse what we tried to do to Earth. This conversation changed things between them. They began to work better together. Bora shared everything the Draconians knew about precursor technology. Hana shared human theories and research methods. Dr. Minsu joined them, and the three became an effective team. After 2 weeks of study, they made a discovery. The installation was not just a defense system. It was also a transmitter. It was sending signals into another dimension, and very faintly there were signals coming back. "The fleet is alive," Bora said, barely believing her own words. "They are somewhere else. Another dimension, and they are trying to communicate." General Young-ho demanded to know more. Could they bring the fleet back? Could they rescue War Prince Kirin? Dr. Minsu was not sure. "The signals are very weak. We can barely detect them. Opening a portal to that dimension would require enormous energy, and we do not know if it is safe." They continued their research. Days turned into weeks. The installation became more active every day. The patterns on its surface glowed brighter. New sections emerged from the ocean floor. It was like watching something ancient slowly wake from a very long sleep. Then one day something went wrong. Lieutenant Hana was running a test on one of the installation's control nodes. She input a sequence of commands based on precursor mathematical patterns. The node reacted immediately. Too immediately. Energy surged through the installation. Alarms blared in the research station. Dr. Minsu shouted for everyone to evacuate, but it was too late. A wave of energy exploded outward from the installation. It was not harmful, but it was powerful. It reached across the entire solar system in seconds. Every ship, every station, every settlement felt it. On Mars, people stopped working and looked up. On the Moon, sensors went crazy. On Earth, billions of people felt a strange sensation, like something vast and ancient had just noticed them. In orbit around Earth, something appeared. It started as a point of light. Then it grew. And grew and grew. A structure materialized from nothing, emerging into normal space from somewhere else. It was enormous, larger than the Moon. Its surface was covered in the same strange materials as the underwater installation. Patterns that moved. Lights that pulsed. Commander Daewon stared at it from the Sentinel station. "What is that?" Ambassador Taeyang's face went pale. "It is a precursor arc. I have only seen pictures in ancient records. These were their ships, their homes. But they should all be gone. They should have disappeared when the precursors ascended." The arc transmitted a message. It did not use radio or light. Instead, it spoke directly into the minds of everyone in the solar system. Humans, Draconians, everyone heard it, not in words but in images and feelings and pure understanding. They saw the precursors, beings of light and energy. They saw the galaxy millions of years ago. They saw the precursors making a choice. They were leaving physical existence, ascending to a higher plane. But first, they prepared for the future. They chose 12 worlds, special worlds, worlds with potential. Earth was one of those worlds. The precursors had watched life develop here. They saw potential in humanity, something special, something that might one day be important to the entire galaxy. So they left defenses. They left the Ark. They left instructions hidden in myths and legends, and they waited to see what humanity would become. The message showed where the Draconian fleet had gone. A pocket dimension, a place where species who violated the Sanctuary Treaty were sent to be judged. Not destroyed, but tested, forced to face the consequences of their actions. War Prince Kirin and his fleet were alive, but trapped in trials designed to teach them the value of the lives they tried to take. The Ark offered a choice. It would open a portal to the pocket dimension. One ship could enter, one chance to rescue the trapped fleet. But there was a price. If humanity chose to do this, the sanctuary status would end immediately. The defenses would shut down forever. Earth would be on its own. President Jae-min called an emergency meeting. The whole world was watching. Captain Yuna volunteered immediately. "I will go. I will bring them back." General Young-ho stood beside her. "My prince is in there." "I will go too," Scholar Bora nodded. "We must try, even if it means Earth loses its protection." Commander Daewon looked at President Jae-min. "Sir, this is the right thing to do. We did not ask for the precursor's protection. We should not hide behind it. If we want respect from the galaxy, we must earn it. We must show that humans will risk everything to do what is right." President Jae-min made his decision. He addressed the world one more time. For 3 hours, nobody moved. Captain Yuna kept her damaged ship in position, weapons ready. She expected the aliens to reappear at any moment. Maybe this was a trick. Maybe they had some kind of invisibility technology. But her sensors showed nothing. Absolutely nothing. On the Sentinel station, Commander Daewon ordered every scan possible. They checked for heat signatures. They looked for gravitational disturbances. They searched for any sign of the 300 warships. There was nothing. The fleet had not been destroyed. Destruction leaves debris, energy, something. The Draconian fleet had simply stopped existing. Lieutenant Hana, Daewon said quietly. What happened? Hana shook her head. She looked at her screens but found no answers. I do not know, Commander. One moment they were there, the next moment gone. I have never seen anything like this. President Jamin called an emergency meeting with all the world leaders. They gathered in the underground bunker beneath Geneva. Everyone had the same question. What just happened? Nobody had answers. Dr. Minsu was the first to offer an explanation. He joined the meeting through a video screen. His hair was messy and his eyes were red from lack of sleep. But he was excited. The quantum signatures, he said. They spiked at the exact moment the fleet vanished. The energy came from Earth. Something on our planet did this. Something we did not build. What do you mean? President Jamin asked. Some kind of weapon? I do not think so. The energy signature is different from any weapon. It is more like a door opening, a portal. I think the alien fleet was transported somewhere, but I cannot tell you where or how. Commander Daewon worked with Lieutenant Hana to review every second of sensor data. They found something interesting. In the microseconds before the fleet vanished, there was a transmission from the Draconian flagship. It was very short. Most of it was static, but they could make out a few words. War Prince Kiran's voice came through, filled with shock and fear. His last words were, not possible. The treaty forbids, then nothing. What treaty? Hana asked. Why would he say that? He knew something, Daewon replied. The Draconians knew about whatever did this. They knew and came anyway. Dr. Minsu traced the source of the quantum signatures. They came from the Pacific Ocean, from a specific area known for strange magnetic readings. The military sent ships to investigate. Dr. Minsu went with them along with a team of scientists and engineers. They used deep-sea submarines to go down. The ocean floor was dark and cold. Their lights cut through the water, showing rocks and sand. Then they saw something that made everyone stop breathing. There was a structure. It was massive, covering an area the size of a small country. The structure was made from materials that did not exist in nature. Black metal with patterns that seemed to move when you looked at them. Crystalline sections that glowed with a faint blue light. Geometric shapes that hurt the eyes. How deep is it buried? Dr. Minsu asked. We used ground-penetrating radar, one of the engineers replied. It goes down at least 2 kilometers. Maybe more. We cannot see the bottom. How old is it? We took samples from the sediment around it. Based on the geological layers, this has been here for at least 50 million years, maybe longer. Dr. Minsu felt his heart race. This was not human technology. This was not anything from Earth. Someone had built a massive installation on Earth millions of years before humans even existed. And that installation had just destroyed an alien fleet. 3 weeks passed. The world slowly returned to normal, though nothing would ever be the same. People knew now that aliens existed. They knew Earth had some kind of ancient defense system, and they knew that humanity was not alone in the universe. Then a new ship arrived. It appeared near Mars without warning. But this ship was different. It was smaller than the Draconian warships, sleeker, with smooth curves instead of sharp edges. It was painted white and silver, with symbols that seemed peaceful. The ship sent a message immediately. People of Earth, I come in peace. I am Ambassador Tae Yang of the Galactic Council. I request permission to land and speak with your leaders. It is very important. The voice spoke perfect English. More than that, it sounded human. The ship landed at a military base in South Korea. When the door opened, a man stepped out. He looked completely human. He was tall with black hair and dark eyes. He wore simple clothes, not a uniform. President Jamin met him personally. They sat across from each other in a secure room. Commander Daewon and Lieutenant Hana were also there, along with other military and political leaders. You look human, President Jamin said. Tai Yang smiled. I am human. I was born in Seoul, actually. That was 67 years ago, though I only look 40. The Galactic Council recruited me when I was 20. I have been serving them ever since. There is a Galactic Council? With humans in it? Yes, there are a few of us. We were taken from Earth at different times over the past 200 years. The Council studies sanctuary worlds carefully. They want to understand them. But we were never supposed to return. We were never supposed to tell you about any of this. Sanctuary worlds? Lieutenant Hana asked. What does that mean? Taeyang took a deep breath. What he said next changed everything. Earth is one of 12 sanctuary worlds in the galaxy. These are planets protected by the precursors, an ancient civilization that disappeared thousands of years ago. The precursors left behind defensive installations like the one you found in the Pacific. They also left a treaty. Every advanced civilization in the galaxy has signed it. The treaty says that sanctuary worlds cannot be attacked, cannot be invaded, cannot be interfered with in any way. Why? Commander Daewon asked. Why would they protect Earth? Nobody knows for certain. The precursors left no explanation. But there are theories. Some believe sanctuary worlds have special potential, that the species living on them might one day become something great. Others think the precursors seeded these worlds with life and wanted to see how it developed naturally. The Draconians knew about this treaty? President Jamin asked. Yes, every spacefaring species knows. But the Draconians thought the defenses were myths, ancient stories. They believed the precursor installations were dead, broken down after thousands of years. They were wrong. Very wrong. What happened to their fleet? Hana asked. Where did they go? Taeyang looked uncomfortable. Nobody knows. In all of galactic history, only 3 species have ever violated the Sanctuary Treaty. None of them were ever seen again. Their fleets vanished, just like the Draconians. Some say they were destroyed. Others say they were transported to another dimension. There are stories of a place where violators are judged, but these are just stories. Nobody really knows. So the Draconians might still be alive? Maybe, maybe not. The important thing is this. The entire galaxy knows what happened here. The disappearance of a Draconian war fleet is big news. Very big news. And it has caused a problem. Taeyang explained the situation. The Draconian Empire was one of the 3 most powerful nations in the galaxy. Their Empress, Seola, was demanding answers. She wanted to know what happened to War Prince Kirin and his fleet. She was threatening war against Earth. The Galactic Council was divided. Some members said the treaty must be upheld no matter what. Earth was protected and should remain so. Others argued that Earth had somehow cheated, that the defenses should not have worked, that humanity should be punished. The Council is offering you a choice, Taeyang said. You can remain a sanctuary world. The defenses will protect you. But you must stay isolated. No faster than light travel. No contact with other species. You will develop alone as the precursors intended. What is the other option? President Jamin asked. You can petition to have your sanctuary status removed. The defenses will be shut down. Earth will join the galactic community as a normal planet, subject to the same laws and dangers as everyone else. You will be free to explore the galaxy, but you will also be vulnerable. The room went quiet. This was an impossible choice. Stay safe but alone, or join the galaxy and risk everything. Lieutenant Hana spent the next week studying everything Taeyang brought them. Files about the Galactic Council, information about other species, and most interesting ancient texts about the precursors. She found something that made her call Commander Daewon immediately. Sir, look at this. These are references to the treaty in human mythology, in ancient Chinese texts, in Greek legends, in Native American stories. The precursors visited Earth multiple times, and they left messages. Daewon looked at the texts. They were hidden in myths and legends, but the pattern was clear. Beings from the sky, great protectors. The promise that Earth would be safe until humanity was ready to walk among the stars. Ready for what? Daewon asked. I do not know. But every text mentions potential. They say humans have something special, something that will be important to the galaxy. We were not protected just because the precursors were nice. We were protected because we matter somehow. Before they could discuss this further, alarms rang out. A new transmission had arrived from deep space. It was from the Draconian Empire, but not from War Prince Kirin. It was from Empress Seola herself. Her image appeared on screens across Earth. She looked similar to her nephew Kirin, but older and harder. Her yellow eyes burned with anger. Commander Day-Wan sat in his chair on the Earth Defense Station Sentinel. It was a normal day. He watched the screens showing ships moving around Earth. Some carried supplies to Mars. Others went to the asteroid belt for mining. Everything was peaceful. Lieutenant Hana worked at her station nearby. She was young but very smart. She studied aliens even though humans had never met any. Today she was checking the gravity readings from different parts of the solar system. Suddenly her screen lit up with red warnings. "Commander," Hana said quickly, "something is wrong near Jupiter. The gravity readings are going crazy." Day-Wan stood up and walked to her station. He looked at the screen. The numbers made no sense. "Check the sensors. Maybe they are broken." "I already did, sir. They are working fine." "This is real." Hana pressed more buttons. "Commander, I am seeing something appear." Multiple objects. Very large objects. The main screen changed. Everyone in the station stopped working and stared. Near Jupiter, space itself seemed to tear open. Points of light appeared, growing bigger and bigger. Then ships came through. Not just one or two. Hundreds of them. The ships were massive. Each one was several kilometers long. They had dark metal surfaces covered with patterns that looked like dragon scales. Sharp spikes stuck out from their hulls. Red lights glowed along their sides. The ships looked like metal dragons floating in space. "Count them," Day-Wan ordered. His voice was calm, but his hands gripped the chair tight. 300 ships, sir. The smallest one is bigger than our largest battleship." Hana's face went pale. "They are moving toward Earth." Day-Wan pressed the emergency button. Alarms rang through the station. All over Earth, military bases went to high alert. On the Moon, on Mars, in every human settlement. People stopped what they were doing and looked at the news. Aliens had arrived. Real aliens. And they were coming toward Earth. 20 minutes later, the alien fleet sent a message. Every screen on Earth showed the same thing. A figure appeared. It looked almost human, but its skin was dark red. Its eyes were bright yellow. It wore armor made of black metal with gold trim. Behind it, more aliens stood at attention. "People of Earth," the alien said. It spoke in perfect English, then Chinese, then Spanish, then hundreds of other languages, switching between them. "I am War Prince Kirin of the Draconian Empire. Your planet is now part of our territory. You have 72 hours to surrender. Give us control of all your military forces. Accept our rule. If you do this, we will let you live. If you refuse, we will destroy your cities. We will turn your oceans to steam. We will make your world like the others who refused us." The screen changed. It showed other planets, beautiful worlds with cities and forests. Then it showed those same worlds burning. Mountains melted. Oceans boiled. Cities turned to glass. Millions of people, of aliens, dying in fire and light. "You have 72 hours, War Prince Kirin said again. Then the message ended. The world went silent for a moment. Then everyone started talking at once. The United Earth Council called an emergency meeting. President Jamin appeared on every screen an hour later. He was an old man with gray hair and tired eyes. But his voice was strong. "Citizens of Earth," he said, "we have received the alien message. I want you to know that humanity will never surrender. We will never accept slavery. We will fight with everything we have. Our military is preparing. Our scientists are working. We will defend our home." People cheered at his words. But behind closed doors, the military leaders knew the truth. They had tested their weapons against the alien shields. Nuclear missiles did nothing. Their strongest lasers could not scratch the alien armor. The smallest alien fighter was stronger than Earth's biggest warship. Commander Day-Wan and Lieutenant Hana worked day and night. They studied every piece of information about the alien fleet. They looked for weaknesses. They found none. The Draconians were too powerful, too advanced. Earth had no chance. Meanwhile, Dr. Minsu sat in his laboratory under the mountains of Switzerland. He was the lead scientist at CERN, the place where scientists studied the smallest pieces of matter. For months he had been detecting strange signals, quantum signatures he called them. They came from somewhere on Earth, but he could not find where. After the aliens arrived, the signals got stronger, much stronger. Dr. Minsu checked his instruments again and again. The readings were impossible. The energy levels were higher than anything humans could create. It was like Earth itself was waking up. He called the military. "Something is happening," he told them. "I do not know what it means, but Earth is generating massive amounts of energy. It started when the aliens came close. Nobody knew what to do with this information. They had bigger problems. The 72 hours were almost over. Captain Yuna stood on the bridge of the warship Phoenix. She was young for a captain, only 30 years old. But she was the best pilot in the Earth Defense Force. Her ship was equipped with humanity's newest weapons. Experimental railguns, plasma torpedoes, energy shields that took 10 years to develop. She knew her weapons would not be enough. But she would fight anyway. Behind her ship, 49 others formed a defensive line between Earth and the alien fleet. 50 ships against 300. It was hopeless. But they would buy time for people on Earth to reach the shelters. The 72 hours ended. War Prince Kieran appeared on screens again. This time he did not speak.
He just smiled.
Then he gave an order in his own language. The Draconian fleet began to move. 300 massive warships accelerated toward Earth. Their weapons powered up. Red light pulsed along their hulls. They came in a perfect formation, like a spear aimed at humanity's heart. "All ships," Captain Yuna said into her communicator. "Fire when ready. Make every shot count. For Earth, for Earth!" 50 captains shouted back. The human fleet opened fire. Missiles streaked through space. Railgun rounds moved at a fraction of light speed. Lasers cut through the darkness. For a few seconds it looked like a beautiful light show. Then the Draconian shields activated. Every human weapon hit those shields and stopped. The explosions looked impressive but did no damage. Not even a scratch. The Draconians fired back. Red beams cut through space. They hit the human ships and tore them apart like paper. The Phoenix shook as 3 human ships exploded nearby. Captain Yuna gritted her teeth and ordered evasive maneuvers. The battle lasted only 10 minutes. 30 human ships were destroyed. The rest were damaged and retreating. The Draconian fleet had not even slowed down. They passed the moon and continued toward Earth. On Earth, people watched in horror. They saw the alien fleet getting closer. They saw their defenders falling. Many prayed, many cried, many just held their families tight. In his laboratory, Dr. Minsu watched his instruments go crazy. The quantum signatures were off the scale. Energy was building up somewhere. He did not know where or why, but something was about to happen. Then, as the Draconian flagship crossed into the space between the moon and Earth, everything changed. A flash of light filled space. It was brighter than the sun. Every sensor in the solar system went blind for a moment. Every screen turned white. People on Earth covered their eyes. When the light faded, the sensors came back online. Captain Yuna looked at her screens and could not believe what she saw. The Draconian fleet was gone. All 300 ships, 5 million alien soldiers, the most powerful war fleet in the galaxy. They had simply vanished. There was no debris, no explosion marks, no energy readings, just empty space where the fleet had been. Lieutenant Hana checked her sensors 3 times. "Commander," she whispered. "They are gone. Completely gone. I cannot find any trace of them." Commander Daewon stared at the empty space. Around the world, people did the same. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The most powerful alien fleet in history had come to conquer Earth, and Earth had made them disappear. The Phoenix had been rebuilt for this mission. Ambassador Taeyang provided technology from the Galactic Council. New engines that could survive dimensional travel. Shields that could protect against forces that normal physics could not explain. Sensors that could detect things human science did not even have names for. Captain Yuna chose her crew carefully. Commander Daewon would be her tactical officer. Lieutenant Hana would handle science and communications. Dr. Minsu would study any precursor technology they found. Scholar Bora and 3 Draconian scientists would work alongside the humans. General Young Ho insisted on coming too, along with 10 Draconian soldiers. The night before launch, Captain Yuna stood on the observation deck of the Sentinel station. She looked at Earth below, blue and green and beautiful. After tomorrow, Earth would have no protection. The ancient shields would be gone. Their world would be vulnerable. Commander Daewon joined her. They stood in silence for a while. "Do you think we are doing the right thing?" Yuna asked. Daewon considered this. "I think we are doing the only thing. The precursors gave us protection we did not ask for, but we cannot hide forever. Sooner or later we have to stand on our own. What if we fail? What if we cannot save the Draconian fleet? Then we will have tried. That is more important than success. The galaxy will see that humans tried to save their enemies. That means something." The next morning, the Phoenix launched. Millions of people watched. The ship rose from Earth and flew toward the precursor arc. The massive structure floated in orbit, silent and patient. As the Phoenix approached, the arc came to life. Lights pulsed along its surface. An opening appeared like a door made of pure energy. Captain Yuna took a deep breath. All crew, prepare for dimensional transit. This is going to be rough. The Phoenix entered the portal. Reality broke apart around them. The ship shook and twisted. Colors that had no names flashed past the windows. Sounds that could not exist in normal space echoed through the hull. Lieutenant Hana felt like she was being pulled in 1,000 directions at once. Then suddenly they were through. The ship stabilized. Everyone took a moment to breathe and collect themselves. What is our status? Captain Yuna asked. Dr. Minsu checked his instruments. We are in the pocket dimension. But it is vast. Much larger than I expected. I am detecting thousands of objects. Ships. Structures. Some are very old. Scholar Bora looked at her own screens. These are not just draconian ships. There are vessels from dozens of species. Some of these designs are ancient. These must be all the species that violated the Sanctuary Treaty throughout history. The Phoenix began to explore. The pocket dimension was strange. Space did not work the same way here. Distance was flexible. Time felt uncertain. They passed by ships that looked like they had been there for centuries. Some were completely dark. Others showed signs of activity. Lieutenant Hana detected something. Captain, I am reading draconian energy signatures. 300 ships clustered together. About 2 million kilometers from our position. Or maybe 200. Distance is hard to measure here. Captain Yuna ordered the Phoenix to head toward the signature. As they got closer, they saw the draconian fleet. All 300 warships floated motionless. Their lights were on but dim. No one responded to hails. The crew is in stasis, Dr. Minsu reported. Some kind of suspended animation. But there is one ship that is different. The flagship. It has active life signs inside. And there is something else. A massive energy reading coming from the center of the flagship. General Young-ho stood up immediately. My prince is on that flagship. We must go to him now, Captain Yuna nodded. We will board the flagship. Small team only. Commander Daewon, Scholar Bora, General Young-ho, and I will go. Lieutenant Hana, you have the ship. If anything goes wrong, return to Earth immediately. Hana did not like this, but she nodded. Yes, Captain. The boarding team took a shuttle to the draconian flagship. The ship looked the same as before, with its dragon-like scales and sharp spikes. But something was different. The patterns on the hull were moving, shifting like water. It made Captain Yuna feel dizzy to look at. They entered through a docking port. Inside, the ship was dark except for emergency lighting. The corridors were empty. Their footsteps echoed strangely, as if the sound was traveling through time as well as space. General Young-ho led them toward the command center. He knew this ship well. He had served on it for years, but now it felt wrong. The walls seemed to change when no one was looking directly at them. Doors appeared where there should be solid walls. Corridors looped back on themselves in impossible ways. This is not a normal ship anymore, Scholar Bora whispered. The precursor technology has transformed it. It is showing War Prince Kirin something. Testing him, they reached the command center. The doors opened automatically. Inside, they found War Prince Kirin. He looked terrible. His armor was gone. His skin was pale. He had aged years in the weeks he had been trapped here. He sat on the floor in the center of the room, surrounded by holographic displays. Each display showed a different world, different species, different civilizations that the Draconian Empire had destroyed. Kirin was watching them all. Tears ran down his face. General Young-ho rushed forward. My prince, I have come to save you. Kirin looked at him but did not seem to recognize him. You are another test, another illusion. You are not real. Nothing is real except what I have done. The lives I destroyed. The civilizations I ended. I am real, my prince. I am Young-ho, your general, your friend. I am here, Kirin shook his head. I have lived 1,000 lives. I have been every person my empire killed. I felt them die. I watched their children starve. I saw their worlds burn. This is my punishment. This is what I deserve, Captain Yuna knelt beside him. She understood now. The precursor trial was not about physical torture. It was about forcing Kirin to truly understand what he had done. To feel the weight of every life his actions had destroyed. War Prince Kieran, she said softly. I am Captain Yuna from Earth, the world you came to conquer. I am real, and I have come to take you home. He looked at her with hollow eyes. Home, I have no home. I am a monster. How can monsters go home? You are not a monster. You did terrible things. But you can change. You can become better. Kieran laughed bitterly. Change, I came to enslave your people. I would have destroyed your cities. Killed millions. Why would you help me? Because that is what makes us different from you, or what you were. You came to conquer. We came to rescue, even our enemies. The holographic displays around them flickered. Captain Yuna realized this was the final test. The trial would only end if Kieran was forgiven and accepted that forgiveness. But could she forgive him? Could humanity forgive the empire that came to destroy them? She thought about what Commander Daewon had said. Sometimes doing what is right is more important than success. Sometimes mercy is stronger than revenge. I forgive you, Captain Yuna said. It was not easy to say. Part of her still remembered the fear she felt when the Draconian fleet arrived, the terror of watching her ships destroyed. But she said it anyway. On behalf of Earth, on behalf of humanity, I forgive you. What you did was wrong. But you have learned. You have changed. That is enough. Kieran stared at her. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then he broke. He collapsed forward, sobbing. All the pain and guilt he had been carrying poured out. General Young-ho held him while he cried. The holographic displays went dark. The strange energy readings faded. The flagship's systems came back online. All around them, throughout the fleet, lights turned on. Stasis fields deactivated. 5 million Draconian soldiers woke up after weeks of suspended animation. Scholar Bora checked her instruments. The pocket dimension is destabilizing. The portal is starting to close. We need to leave now. Captain Yuna helped Kieran to his feet. Can your fleet move? He nodded weakly. Yes, all systems are operational, then we fly together. Back to normal space. Back home, the Phoenix led the way. 300 Draconian warships followed. They raced toward the portal as the pocket dimension collapsed behind them. Other trapped ships tried to follow, but most were too damaged or too far away. Captain Yuna saw them fall behind, disappearing into the collapsing space. She felt sad for them, but there was nothing she could do. The Phoenix burst through the portal first. The Draconian fleet followed, ship after ship emerging from the energy gate. Lieutenant Hana had stayed with the Phoenix as ordered, keeping the ship ready. She had never been so relieved to see anyone in her life. Behind them, the portal collapsed completely. The pocket dimension sealed itself away, but hundreds of other species had escaped with them, freed after centuries or even millennia of imprisonment. They were back in normal space near Earth. The precursor ark was still there, floating in orbit, but it looked different now, darker, quieter. As they watched, it began to fade. The lights on its surface went out one by one. The massive structure became transparent, then vanished completely. Commander Daewon checked the sensors. The installation in the Pacific Ocean has gone dark too. The quantum shields are offline. Earth's sanctuary status is ended. Captain Yuna felt a strange mix of emotions. They had succeeded. They had saved the Draconian fleet, but the price was high. Earth was now vulnerable. No ancient defenses. No special protection. Just another planet in a dangerous galaxy. 6 months had passed since the return of the Draconian fleet. Earth looked very different now. Ships from dozens of alien species filled the orbit. Some came as ambassadors. Others came as traders. A few came as tourists, curious about the planet that had ended its sanctuary status to save its enemies. The Galactic Council had granted humanity provisional membership. It was the fastest any species had ever been accepted. Usually it took centuries. But Earth had done something remarkable. Something that made even the oldest civilizations take notice. War Prince Chiron, who now insisted people call him simply Chiron, remained on Earth as the Draconian Empire's ambassador. He had changed completely. The arrogant conqueror was gone. In his place was a humble man dedicated to peace. He worked with President Jae-min to reform the Empire's policies. The Draconian Empire faced serious problems. Their worlds were dying. Their resources were exhausted. Chiron proposed a solution. Instead of conquering planets, the Empire would ask for help. They would trade technology and knowledge for new homes. Many species, including humans, agreed to help relocate Draconian colonies to safer worlds. Scholar Bora had not returned to the Empire. She stayed on Earth, working with Dr. Minsu to decode precursor technology. Their laboratory was in the mountains of Switzerland, built over the old CERN facility. Together, they made discoveries that changed galactic science. Lieutenant Hana often visited their lab. She had been promoted to commander, and now led Earth's research into the 11 remaining precursor installations. The coordinates the Ark had provided were incredibly valuable. Every major power in the galaxy wanted access to them. President Jae-min called a special session of the United Earth Assembly. Representatives from all of Earth's nations gathered. So did ambassadors from other species. The question before them was crucial. What would Earth do with the precursor knowledge? Some argued that Earth should keep the information secret, use it to become powerful, dominate the galaxy. Others said they should sell the information, become rich beyond measure. But Captain Yuna, now Admiral Yuna, proposed a different path. She stood before the assembly and spoke. Her words were simple but powerful. The precursors gave us a gift. Not just protection, but a lesson. They showed us that power should be used to help others, not to dominate them. We proved we understood this lesson when we saved the Draconian fleet. Now we must prove it again. I propose we create a coalition. Any species that wants to study the precursor installations can join, but they must agree to use the knowledge peacefully, to help others, to build instead of destroy. The assembly debated for days. Finally, they voted. The Treaty of Earth was created. It established a coalition dedicated to exploring precursor technology for peaceful purposes. Membership was open to any species willing to commit to mutual advancement rather than conquest. The treaty faced opposition from conservative members of the Galactic Council. They did not like the idea of sharing such powerful technology, but support came from unexpected places. The species that had been freed from the pocket dimension pledged their support. They remembered who had rescued them. Even Empress Seola, after a long private conversation with her nephew Kiran about his experiences in the trial, agreed to have the Draconian Empire join the coalition. Her words surprised everyone. My nephew told me what happened in that place. He told me about the trial, about facing the consequences of our actions, and he told me about the humans who came to save him, who forgave him. I have spent my life building an empire through conquest, but perhaps there is a better way. The humans will teach us this way. Within 3 months, 13 species had joined the coalition. The number 13 held special meaning in precursor culture. Scholar Bora believed it was significant. The coalition's first mission was to investigate another sanctuary world. This planet had been silent for centuries. No one knew what had happened to the species living there. Admiral Yuna was chosen to command the expedition. Her crew was drawn from multiple species. Scholar Bora served as chief science officer. Commander Hana was her deputy. Dr. Minsu stayed on Earth to continue his research, but he sent a brilliant young engineer named Hyun Woo in his place. General Young-ho came as military advisor. The ship itself was a new design, built using both human and alien technology. They named it the Unity. The journey to the mysterious sanctuary world took 2 weeks using faster-than-light travel. As they approached the planet, they detected something unexpected. The native species was still alive. They were on the verge of discovering their own faster-than-light travel. They stood at the same crossroads humanity had faced, but there was a problem. The precursor defenses were malfunctioning. They would activate randomly, sometimes attacking the native species' own ships. Other times they would lash out at asteroids or empty space. The whole system was breaking down. If we do not help them, Commander Hana said, their own defenses might destroy them. Admiral Yuna made a decision. We will approach peacefully. We will offer our help. We will show them that they are not alone in the universe. The Unity sent a message to the planet. The native species who called themselves the San were shocked. Aliens were real, and they were offering friendship. It took weeks of careful work. Scholar Bora and the San scientists worked together to stabilize the precursor installation. Hyunwoo solved problems that had puzzled everyone else. Commander Hana established communication protocols that let the San talk with the coalition. While they worked, Commander Hana made a disturbing discovery. She was studying the precursor communication network, the system that linked all 12 sanctuary worlds. She found fragments of an old message, a warning. The precursors did not ascend because they wanted to. They fled. Something had driven them from physical existence. Something dangerous, something that still lurked in the spaces between dimensions. The message was incomplete, damaged by time and distance. But what Hana could read was worrying. The precursors had been fighting something, a force that consumed civilizations. They could not defeat it. So they ascended to escape it, and they left the sanctuary worlds as seeds, hopes that younger species might succeed where they failed. Hana brought this information to Admiral Yuna. They decided not to share it widely yet. No point in causing panic, but they needed to investigate further. Meanwhile, the mission succeeded. The precursor defenses were stabilized. The San were offered the same choice Earth had been given: remain protected in isolation or join the wider galaxy. The San chose to join. They were impressed by humanity's willingness to help them. These humans were newcomers to galactic civilization themselves, yet they crossed the stars to assist strangers. With the San's decision, the coalition grew to 14 member species. The Unity returned to Earth to celebrations. The mission was declared a complete success. But Admiral Yuna and Commander Hana knew there were bigger challenges ahead. The precursors had left them a warning. Something was out there, something dangerous. Back on Earth, Dr. Minsu had made his own breakthrough. He managed to activate part of the communication network. He linked the Earth installation with the one on the San homeworld. For a brief moment, the two installations resonated with each other. Everyone nearby felt it, a sense of connection, of potential, of something vast and ancient acknowledging their efforts. It was like the precursors were watching, pleased with what humanity had become. President Jamin organized a gathering to celebrate the coalition's success. Representatives from all member species came to Earth. They stood together at the site of the Pacific installation, now renamed Precursor Installation Alpha. The president spoke about humanity's journey. From near extinction to galactic partnership, from isolation to cooperation. He acknowledged the challenges ahead but spoke of hope, of the strength that came from different species working together. Ambassador Kiran stood beside him. 6 months ago I came to conquer this world. Today, I call it my second home. The humans taught me something my empire forgot. That true strength comes not from weapons or fear, but from compassion and cooperation. The Draconian Empire will never forget this lesson. As the gathering concluded, Admiral Yuna received an urgent transmission. It was from Ambassador Taeyang. He had been investigating the precursor's disappearance, following up on the warning Commander Hana had discovered. The message was brief but urgent. I found something, an anomaly in a distant sector. It matches the descriptions in the fragmented message. Whatever the precursors fled from, it is waking up. Assemble a team. Come quickly. We need the best minds in the coalition. We need humanity's courage, because I think we are about to face the greatest challenge the galaxy has ever known. Admiral Yuna looked at the message for a long moment. Then she looked at her crew. Commander Hana, Scholar Bora, General Youngho, Hyunwoo. They had faced impossible odds before. They had entered a pocket dimension and returned. They had ended Earth's protection to save their enemies. Whatever came next, they would face it together. She turned to President Jamin. Sir, I request permission to take the Unity on a long-range mission. We have a new challenge to face. President Jamin smiled. He had expected this. Permission granted, Admiral. Show the galaxy what humanity can do.